Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what we are taking on for today is routing and common routing, passing data into those routes, retrieving data from those routes. So so that's what we'll be getting on for today. It is pretty simple and basic. So but I'll just be showing the common procedure to how we should actually get it done in our application. So I'll be using the previous app that we worked on. That's the weather app. So what we'll basically be doing is we'll try to navigate to other screens while um, passing some of the data that we have from the home screen here to the next screen. So the first approach to routing that I'll be discussing on is the material page route. It's a very simple and very easy routing approach in Flutter. So I'll be doing that right now. So I already have some of my codes, okay, but we'll just add more as we continue with the class. So we have, so this is the navigation, like that helps us with the routing in our Flutter applications. So the goal of navigating, okay, in your Flutter application is so that you can have access to as many screens that you've already built. Okay, you can have an application with over 20 screens. You will need your routing navigation, you will need to be able to talk to those screens regardless the way you want to actually talk to them. Okay, so that's why there are actually three approaches. Yeah, we have the material route approach, we have the named, okay, I have it here, we have the static route map, we have the material page route, we also have the generated generated route map. Okay, so but we are not actually discussing on this. This involves you using your Flutter um, runner build runner to get on this. So but are we are not talking, we are not going to be dwelling more on this. So we'll be very much primarily focused on the two above. Okay, so for the first approach, which is the material route approach, so it basically uses this guy, the material page route, okay, to do all sorts of navigation within it. So I think we have one more. So it basically uses the material page route to talk to do the routing. Okay, so we have the push, we have push and remove until, we have pop, we have push replacement, we have different methods into it. So let's just click and see. So we have the push, we have the push replacement. So yeah, we have the push remove until. So let me add the push replacement into my code here. I think we have more people joining. So let me add the push replacement here. So I just copy this, paste it, change this to replacement, then we'll call. Okay, so each of these guys, Okay, it doesn't. Try and open this. Okay. So each of these guys, they perform different activities. Yeah. So push allows you to jump to the next screen that you are routing to. That's that one. Push and remove until, like, it keeps going to the next screen. And so the navigation system is more like, should I say, in a stack approach. So when you are going to the next screen, if you are going back, you can still easily access the previous screen. So the push remove until, like, kind of removes any previous layer and just get straight to the screen you are going to. So that's what push and remove until does. Push replacement means when you are going to the next screen, the previous screen you were on is automatically replaced by the next screen. So if you are trying to go back to the previous screen, you basically still on the same next screen you try to jump to. So that's what push replacement does. So let me add the very simple one, that is pop, where you just remove a screen. So it's basically, so pop is a very, just we are very familiar with them. So pop allows you to remove the current screen you've navigated into and just revert back to the previous screen. So that's what pop does. So now if you guys have any questions or any issues, let me know. I'll always be coming here to check in case of any issues. So let me bring our app into review here. So I want to create a screen called details. Okay, so now we've created, let me add the key constructor again for this. Okay, so now we have our details view that we've just created now. Let me add more to it. Paste some. And grab some text from so this. So we have this page that we are going to be navigating into. So it's the details page. So now if I want to use, so what I want to do is whenever I tap on any viewed weather details here, that is when I click on this 29.1 degrees Celsius or 28, any weather value, if I click on it, it should take me to this details view. So now that I've already created this navigator page here, UT rather, so I'll be using any of this method so that we can get a full understanding of what we are doing. So I will come here. So before you can actually get your navigation to start working, your navigation works inside the on-press button or inside the function callback actually. So that's where your navigation and routing happens. So I'll be wrapping this with an on-press. I think this current okay. So on tap, so okay, so now I'll be calling this let's make this context. So I pass my context into it, then the routes. So I come here, then I grab this guy and I pass it as a route. Okay. So now we've implemented our routing system using the material page routes approach. So let me review this. So if I click on this, so if I click on this, it takes me to this page, and by default there's an on back when you swipe. So but now we'll need let's try writing a better approach instead. If the user don't get to swap their screen, so let's do that here. We'll add it in our app bar. So hope you guys are getting me. Okay, let me know that in the comment section, so I'll check that out. Okay, so now let's add our back button into our app bar. So the app bar already has its own default view, so it is like this, automatically imply leading, so you can see true. So do this automatically should add. Okay, the view is not Okay, so our app bar automatically has its own this. Oh, okay, so because we already added our lead in, it stopped this. So let's just wrap our icon with it on top. So we use this the pop here. So the pop just to remove the current screen we are on and then go back to the next, to our previous screen. So just context. Okay. So I can have so it's either you use the default set by the app bar already, which is this, or you just get to create your own implementation of it. So that is how the so let's try passing data. So now when I click on this, it just navigates to this present view that we've already created, but it's not transferring the data from this screen to the next screen. So in the material page approach, the way that is seamlessly done is using I like call it some constructor values of the view. Okay, so the way that is done is I'll come here, then let's create. So we'll create an object. So what the object we want to create here will be doing is it will allow it to collect the data that is from our previous screen, then bring it along with the navigation into the current screen we are in. So we'll be creating this as a map. Okay, you can use any form of data, but it's very seamless if you are using map for that. So let's have a string, the name, then dynamic. So we have details value. Okay. So now that we've already created this, we're already getting an error here, and that's because we need to add it into the views constructor name. So we do that like this, and good. Okay. So now I've already set this approach, what I'll be using to collect my data from any screen, from any previous screen. So now I'll go back to my homes here. Okay, now I've already called this our normal navigator util. So inside this, I'll be calling the value of this, which is the details of value. Okay, so I call this, and so now this will allow me to collect any data that I want to pass from this screen, then bring it over to the next screen. So since it is a map, it will look like this. Our string, that's the string value for that will be, say, current weather. And what's the value for the current weather? Yeah, so this is it. So I'll copy this and since there's an error. Okay. So let's remove the constant here. Yeah. Okay, so now we have done that. Now we can go back, reload our screen. So click here. So now we've already implemented this. Now we need to now display the data that we are sending from the previous screen to the details screen. Okay, so the way to do that is, now this, for you to call this guy, the widgets, the stateless widget that we have right now has a way of doing that. So let me try adding an additional view for us to see that. So my padding, okay, 16. Some space. So now I want to display the current weather value that I already clicked on previously. So the way for me to do that is I'll call my widget. Okay, I'll call my widget first, then do a dot. Okay, why is okay, I don't think, okay. Let me just context. Okay, so I just noticed because we are in our stateless widgets, we can just call the value directly. But if you're in your stateful widgets, you have to implement the use of the widgets. And let me try see if I can convert to okay, convert to stateful. Yeah, so if I convert to stateful, so my Android Studio automatically adjusts it to calling the widgets. So that's another difference between using your stateful widgets and your stateless widgets. So the widget here simply means the current state for your view, for you to collect data from, like as it is holding any current data actually. So that's what our widget does here. So since we are not really doing much, let me just revert back to our stateless So I should add my constant, so this. Okay. So now, yeah. So now I was able to pass the data from here to the next screen. So let's make it bigger. Let's make it like this. Yeah, let's make it like this. I just copy paste this and paste here. This and this. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is much more presentable. So if I click here, I get this. So let's replicate what we've done right now to the other values here. So I'll just go right to my lists. They already wrote down for the view. Wrap it around with the gesture tab. Yeah. Okay. So I just copy paste this and I paste it here. So I can reload my screen. And any value I click on gets. Okay, let's reload the screen again. Oh, okay. It's taking the current one. Replace it with this. Okay. Okay. So now our data is being passed now from, yeah. So now that's using the material routes and material page routes. Now when we want to use, so I think let's just talk about what we just discussed right now, because using the name route is a different entire approach. So I want us to like talk about the material page route approach right now. If you guys have anything you want me to talk about more, so let me know right now or in the comment section. Okay, yeah, you can go.
Okay. So in this instance, you passed your data from what's it called? You passed a specific data
Okay, from the
from one
previous,
page to another.
yeah.
What if you want to pick yeah, what if you want to pick from that list? You know we collected the data from an API. But
Yeah.
what if you want to collect another data that's actually different from what you picked? How will you do that?
Okay, like if I want to collect another data from what I picked.
From the API, from the API itself. Maybe for instance now, when you click on that, what's it called? On
Okay.
that temperature, maybe you want to show something like the name of the city or something. Like
Okay.
in this page, maybe you want to show instead of the temperature again, maybe the name of the city or something else.
Okay. Yeah. So in this place, I just set it to just be one, to just only one value, yeah. I can actually take the a specific entire object, okay, and move everything to the next screen. Okay, so each of these there's a specific so this current one is actually an object on its own. Okay, so I can actually transport, like move that specific object to the next screen, then I can display any other multiple data that I want to display from that object. Did I answer that, or this one?
Um, Not really. Kind of, but
Okay, come again on the question.
so no. Okay, your screen is back. It's kind of blurry, so I can't see your code clearly. So
Oh,
probably that one. Okay, for instance, now you're using current here.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Change the current. If I should change the current to another data, I will be able to pass that data, right?
If you change this current underscore weather,
Yes.
okay.
This current has null check.
Okay, this
This
okay,
current
yeah,
that has
yeah,
null
sure,
check.
sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. Is it dynamic? That's why I said we are
What if
using,
you want to pass more than one?
yeah, so that's why I said is
What if
very
you
is
want to
yeah.
pass more than one?
So if you want to pass more than one, you can just come here. So let's do that right here now. So if I want to pass with the location, so that's why we use map instead of you just using a static single variable. So map will allow you to pass as many objects, variable as you want. So I can just say current location, then I pass. Take this with me. Okay, so now I'm passing more than one value. Okay, so that's how it is. So, and if I want to display this current one, I'll just come to my code, then maybe create another field for that one. But I must always note the what's it called, the string key name. Okay, so this the value for this current weather is this one, and that's because this is the key to it. So the key, like when you're passing your data, if you are not using a model object and you are using map, you must make sure everything is well correlated to each other. So yeah, you can pass more than one data, you can pass objects, you can do that. Did I answer you now?
You can't understand my question. I'll try and implement it myself. If I should place a number, I'll get back to you.
Okay. Or is it like when you get to the other screen, you need to call more data, or when you're on the previous screen, you need to call more data?
When you're on the new screen, you want to display more data.
Okay. And that requires you talking to an API or something, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that one you set up your view model, okay? So when the data gets to this screen, there are also other approach to transferring data from a screen to another screen. Okay, that's using the what's it called? If you use the dependency injection approach, okay, that means you are using a service. You are using a service to transport the data from one screen to different screens. So, but that one is another approach. This is what we are currently focusing on, is just navigation and routing. So maybe your question is in the other, might be available in the other classes. Okay.
I guess so.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank
Or
you
we can
very
also
much.
discuss it in the channel. So let me know about that one when you drop it in the channel. So we'll get more in depth with that. So any more question?
All right.
Any more questions, suggestion? before I jump to the next approach. So the next approach, I'll try to make sure I speed things up, and so we can also get to clarify on what we've done. So this is already done. So we're done with this. So now the static route map, the concept to it is you won't be calling your view as an object in the page. That's just the way the named route is. Instead, you'll be calling them as like strings. So that's the difference between material page route and static map route map. So that's just the basic difference. Okay, so while we can be able to just navigate to any page using the material page route, there needs to be some setup for us to do before we can use named the named or static. Let me update this. So there are some setup that needs to be done for us to start using the named route map. So the first setup is done here. Okay, that is we have to initialize our initial routes, and I already wrote some samples here so this page, so for us to like seamlessly implement using named routes, okay, there are two files I used to create. Okay, this page, the apps pages, we hold all your like views. It will hold them as like this, it will hold them. Why the page route just holds the string value, okay, of your views, of your pages. So now let me get to the first setup. The first setup is we initialize our initial route into our material app pages, initial route. Then we have all our routes, and that's app pages dot routes. Yeah, so our route is in form of this data type. So we have string and our widget builder. Okay, so our widget builder is in form of this context. So let me remove this. So let me replace this splash screen with, okay, let me say. So now that we've already done the first step, which is setting up our initial routes and our page routes. The page routes contains all the pages that we'll be talking to. So when I come here, these are our initial routes. So I will update this to the details screen. But the name has to be similar in some ways. Okay. So let me change this to details view. Okay. So I have this set. Then I come here. Now I will try to link the string value for my page in this app pages. So I'll do this by saying, by typing detail screen. Okay, still home screen. this view and yeah. So initially we can just pass an empty data, but I don't think it will service, so it will just be left empty. So we've done the first setup. The next setup is now adding more pages to our route. So the more screens you have, that's how you keep adding more of it to it. So let me add this also. Okay, but this will already navigate to our homes anyways. So we have our details and so now if I want to use the route named, so let me comment this out using material. So I'm commenting this out and now using named. Okay. Okay, so I already have a method in the util that I created also in my navigator. So we use this. So just as we have push, push, push and replace until, the difference is just named. Okay, so we keep adding named to whatever navigation approach we want to use. So let me try calling the push name. Okay. So where's that? Push named. Okay. We have someone join. So I pass my context. Then the string. So I come here. Let's see. Maybe having so we are just navigating yet. We are not yet passing data using the named approach. So I don't want us to be displaying any more data. Okay. Okay, so now we've implemented navigating using the named route. Okay, so you see how we had to do the setup, do this using before we could use our named route. So material page route already handles all those setup for us. So what we just do is call the material page route method with the navigator. So that's the difference between the named and the material page approach. So now passing data is different. Okay, so the way it works with named route is using arguments. Okay, so you cannot just use this other approach we talked about earlier for named route. So we have to use arguments. So and the way to use arguments, you have to use. So for you to use arguments, when you set the argument inside, so let's just do that one. Arguments. So our argument will be this map that we have here. Let me just copy this. So when you have your argument set with your named route, you need to retrieve it. Okay, so for you to retrieve it and display it on your screen, that's where your screen might now need to be in its stateful widgets. So we might need to switch to our stateful widgets. So when we want to try retrieving it, we can do that in our init state. So basically, I ideally use material page routes. So I don't go through. I use material page route and generated routes. Okay, generated routes kind of helps you handle some of all this passing of arguments, retrieving of arguments. So it kind of helps you handle that part too. So, but if you want to use named routes, this is the approach to it. So now we need to retrieve our data that we've passed in our argument. So I will have my init. State. So for you to retrieve that, so let me have. I want to see. Oh, okay. Okay, so widget dot details equals. So we have what we call model routes, model or something. So that's the way we can use to collect our. Okay, so let me bring this. Yeah, shouldn't be there. Okay. This. So only sticking to one approach is very, very, very compulsory, please. So right now we won't be using this because it was what we used for our initial approach. Now we'll be using this because we are using the named route approach. So yeah, if I click this, send me, this is not yet set. So let's go and update that. So I just copy this and paste it. Yeah. So guys, thank you for joining this session. More info, more updates will be dropped on the group, and we can I'll update the repo and I'll push it to our channels repo and also to our Discord. So thank you guys for joining. So we are done with the usage of navigating and routing your Flutter application. I'm using named routes and also material page routes, and also passing data across the two approaches.